Savior.
Happy and blessed.
Watching and waiting.
And
looking above. Filled with his goodness. Lost in his love. Lost in his love.
This is my story. This is my song. Praising my Savior all the day long. This is my story. This is my song. Praising my Savior all the day long.
And our final song in this segment, 279 in the new. Come every soul by sin oppressed, there is mercy with the Lord, and he will surely give you rest by trusting in his word. Come every soul by sin oppressed, there's mercy with the Lord, and he will surely give you rest by trusting in him. Only trust him, only trust him. Only trust him, only trust him, only trust him. He will save you. He will save you. He will save you. He will save you. For Jesus shed his precious blood. For Jesus shed his precious rich blessings to bestow. Plunge now into the crimson blood that washes white as snow. Only trust him.
Only trust him. Only trust him. Only trust him now.
He will save you.
He will save you. He will save you now.
Yes, Jesus is the truth, the way. Yes, Jesus is the truth, the way
that leads you into rest.
Believe on him.
Believe in him
And you are fully blessed.
And you are fully blessed. Only trust him. Only trust him. Only trust him now.
He will save you.
He will save you. He will save you. He will save you now.
Come then and join this holy band. Come then and join this holy
and
band. On to glory go.
To glory go.
To dwell in that celestial land. Where joys immortal flow. Only trust him.
Only trust him. Only trust him. Only trust him now. He will save you. He will save you. He will save you now.
Thank you.
A very wonderful afternoon to the good people in this Jackson Stage 2 area. We have come into your area to share messages on health, the good news of God's love, messages in song, and we hope that though you are inside your homes, you can hear and will listen. We've also put some pieces of literature last week on health and today on the gospel in your mailboxes, and some people receive directly. So God bless you all. We are glad to be in this area. We will be back oftentimes for a period of time, sharing health, sharing the gospel, sharing Bible prophecy, sharing on the things that are happening in the world and what they mean, because we know from the Word of God that we are very near the end of time. Jesus is coming again, and a tremendous crisis will hit the world just before he comes, and it is our duty, because of the love of God, to share these things with you. God bless you. It is my task to talk to you for a few minutes on health. And as everybody knows, there are, in our small island and the islands of the Caribbean, too many sudden deaths, too many heart attacks, too many strokes, too much cancer, and what we call the chronic non-communicable diseases are continuing to cause a lot of premature death and sickness. And by premature, we mean a lot of people are dying before 70, before 65 with these chronic diseases. Well, I want you to know that it is not God's will that we should be sick. It is not God's will that there should be death. All of this is the result of Adam's fall and human beings continuing to make choices that are not for their own good, either physically or spiritually. In the Caribbean here in Barbados, we know that people are still consuming, for example, too much alcohol. And some people drink alcohol and do not even know that the amount they're drinking is too much. But alcohol overuse, even alcohol in what people call moderate use, has been shown by medical research to cause many problems. Everybody knows that alcohol can cause liver disease, cirrhosis, hardening of the liver. Everybody knows that alcohol increases the risk of cancer of the swallow pipe and stomach, and of the mouth and throat. But alcohol increases the risk of diabetes, and we have a lot of diabetes in Barbados. As one person said, we start producing sugar in the factories and producing it in the blood. A lot of people with diabetes, and it is largely preventable. We'll talk about it in a minute. Alcohol also increases the risk for high blood pressure and heart disease. Once upon a time, it used to be believed that a small amount of alcohol was beneficial. Recent research shows that any amount of alcohol is dangerous. And therefore, we recommend that when you want something to drink, drink water or drink a good wholesome fruit juice rather than alcohol. It is simply poison with many different names in a bottle. And the thing is, it costs a lot of money. You see the various alcoholic beverages, a lot of money to only do damage to your body. So our first point to get home to you this evening is that alcohol is of no use, and it contributes considerably to the disease burden in Barbados and the Caribbean. Another point we want to mention is the point of cigarette smoking, tobacco. And as the World Health Organization says, if one person is smoking, that is one too many. Cigarette smoking, lung cancer, heart disease, cancer all through the body, and what we call chronic lung disease, emphysema, and chronic bronchitis. So tobacco. And when people both smoke and drink alcohol, well, they're going down a double-laned road to disaster. Now, another brief point here is that we know that people are consuming a lot of sugar, a lot of salt, and they're not taking time to eat more fruits and vegetables. We recommend a plant-based diet by and large. Eat more fruits, more vegetables. You can grow cabbage and spinach, kale, even in your backyard. In these hard times, it is good to grow what you eat and eat what you grow, but the vegetables and the fruits are very protective against chronic diseases like high blood pressure and diabetes and cancer and heart disease and stroke. So eat more fruit and eat more vegetables. Be moderate with your salt. Of course, our bodies need salt, but the various fast food industries usually put too much salt in what they sell you. So be moderate with salt. Avoid refined sugar. Most of the beverages that are sold and the sweetened drinks contribute to spikes in blood sugar, predispose you to diabetes or to put on too much weight, and that is not going to be good. Another point I want to mention is that we need to exercise more, and walking is very good. Walking, swimming is also ranked very high, but that is if you can swim, but you can walk. So walking is excellent exercise. It has recently been shown that because the lower limbs contain so many nerves and so many blood vessels, and the brain has to be very much in use when walking, walking actually protects the brain and keeps the brain in practice in terms of keeping you balanced and keeping you in good coordination. Walking stimulates the circulation. Walking also improves the cardiovascular system. It keeps the arteries from getting too stiff, and you need your arteries to be flexible, especially as you grow older. So walking, eating more fruits and vegetables, avoid alcohol, avoid tobacco, be moderate with salt. And one last point in this introductory health lecture, because we'll be back and bring you more talks on health. It has been shown that here in Barbados and the Caribbean, and I'm now addressing the men, most of our men do not get anything checked. They don't get their blood pressure checked, nor their blood sugar, nor cholesterol, and for men, not even their prostate until something happens. So, along with the preventive lifestyle, no alcohol, no tobacco, more fruits and vegetables, be moderate with the salt, avoid the sugar, eat naturally and simply. We recommend that everybody, men and women, but we are especially appealing to the men, especially when you're past the age of 45, 50, to get your blood pressure, your blood sugar, your cholesterol, the prostate, PSA, and women, their breast checks, their pap smears, their gynecologic checks, because you can be just going along. Things are happening inside you do not know, and however good you try to live, something can still happen because we live in sinful flesh in a sinful world. So getting your checks is important. Sometimes we meet men and they're presenting for the first time to a doctor with a stroke. Ask them when last they saw a doctor, they can't remember. And I asked a patient recently what he means by can't remember. He said, well, I never went. That's what he can't remember. So it is important to remember that you don't know what your blood pressure is unless you get it checked. Barbadians have a saying that, I know my blood pressure is good because I feel all right in my head. That is an old wives' tale, a very old one too. You can't depend on how you feel to know what your blood pressure is. Get your blood pressure checked at least 3 times a year, especially if you have a family history of high blood pressure. You know the gene is there, get it checked. Get your blood sugar checked at least once a year. Men over 45, 50, your prostate, PSA, women, their breast checks, because we have to be checking to make sure that if something is happening, we catch it early when the chances of complete cure or control would be better. So remember the principles of healthy eating, and remember the importance of early detection. So may God bless you. In future visits to this area, we'll talk on other points of health specifically. So God bless you all, and may these pointers in health put you in good stead to eat healthier, to avoid habits that are destructive, and to take care of your health. God bless you.
We shall sing another song at this time, 426 in the new. I shall see the King, where the angels sing. I shall see the King someday in the better land on that golden strand, and with him shall ever stray. 426 in the new. I shall see the King where the angels sing. I shall see the King someday in the better land on the golden strand, and with him shall ever stray. In his glory I shall see the King,
I shall see the King,
and forever endless praises
sing.
'Twas on Calvary Jesus died for me. I shall see the King someday. In the band of song, in the glory, where there never comes a night, with my Lord once slain, I shall ever in the glory land of light, In his glory, I shall see the King, and forever endless praises sing. 'Twas on Calvary, Jesus died for me. I shall see the King someday. I shall see all my tributes bring, and shall look upon his face. Then my song shall be,
Oh, he ransomed
and has kept me by his grace.
kept me by his grace.
In his glory, I shall see the King, and forever endless praises sing. 'Twas on Calvary, Jesus died for me. I shall see.
Good afternoon, everyone. It is indeed a joy and privilege of mine to be here in this community this evening to briefly bring to you a very brief presentation, and the topic shall be The End is Near. The End is Near. And I shall now, before we proceed, I shall ask that the scripture reading be read at this time, taken from Matthew 24, 6-8, and Mark chapter 13, 24-26.
Matthew 24, 6-8. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, And there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places. All these are the beginning of sorrows. Mark 13, 24 to 26. And it reads, "But in those days, after that tribulation, the sun shall be darkened, and the moon shall not give her light, and the stars of heaven shall fall, and the powers that are in heaven shall be shaken. And then shall they see the Son of Man coming in the clouds with great power and glory."
I do believe that all of us, from the time we were children, have been hearing that the coming of Christ is near at hand. And I do believe that a lot of us too have grown weary of hearing such. But the question is, should we be growing weary? And the mere fact that from children we were hearing of this nearing coming of Christ, shouldn't we be eager and shouldn't we be anticipating, knowing that as each day passes by, his coming is nearer and nearer? And the question, therefore, then is, how prepared are we for the coming of Christ? The end is near, brethren. Matthew 24:68 and Mark 13:24 to 26 has stated that. And those of us who believe in the scriptures will know that the scriptures do not lie. On the Mount of Olives, Christ rehearsed the most fearful events to occur before his second appearance. He said, "You shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. Nations shall rise against nations, and kingdom against kingdom. And there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places. All of these are but the beginning of sorrows." These prophecies were partially fulfilled when Jerusalem was destroyed. However, they have a more direct application today. The signs in the heavens, that is, the darkening of the sun and the moon, have all occurred. The present time, though, ought to be of utmost importance to all of us. Whether we know it or not, all manner of men, regardless of their social standing in society, are giving serious thought to what obtains among nations today. And the question is, why are such men giving serious thought to what obtains in society today and among the nations? There is a restlessness which is being likened to the Cold War. From a geopolitical perspective, we all do remember when there was the Cold War before the Berlin Wall fell, when Reagan went and said to the then President Gorbachev, "Tear down this wall." Thereafter, the wall fell, and the world thought that there would be going to be everlasting peace. But the question is there everlasting peace? In Christendom, there is a belief that what obtains today is reflective of Sodom and Gomorrah and the days of Noah before the flood, which has given rise to many a false prophet. And we do know that from time to time, there are those who will come out and say, Christ is coming this time and that time. They had this dream and that dream, and these things have never been fulfilled. And that is why we have got to know the signs of the times, which will point to the time when Christ will come and the era of his nearness of coming. There is a season appointed, and we all shall know when Christ will come, but not the hour, not the day, not the month, not the year. And the onus is on all of us to be prepared to meet when Christ comes. Such unrest, though, has led to fear among nations, and amidst the call for peace, each is now preparing for war. Imagine in the United Nations, they're calling for peace, peace, peace. And that nation, that entity, that body, that organization was established after World War II to ensure that peace reign on earth. but it's peace of mind. No, topical. We also know that about the tensions between China and Taiwan. Interestingly, though, Turkey and Greece, there's conflict and tension, should I say, between the two nations. But of interest is that both of them are members of NATO, the North Atlantic Treaty Organization. And that is like a family. And yet, there is tension among those two nations. To this end, the United States of America has had to position an aircraft carrier to ensure that none of those two nations invade each other's their airspace. Hungary, a member also of NATO, is very favorable to Putin. Imagine I am in a family and I like my family enemy better than I like my family. That is something that is very common. And that says a lot about what obtains in this world. The United Nations, as I said earlier, which was established to ensure that we live in peace, is in pieces. It's fragmented. In the financial markets, there is great uncertainty. One moment, the stock market is booming, and before the day is over, it crashes. The crypto market has all crashed because of what? Greed. Corruption prevails at all levels, and undoubtedly, men do not know what to do with their monies. This uncertainty will continue to lead men's hearts to fail them for fear. Imagine today if you were like a Usain Bolt, put $10 million in the stock exchange in your country, only to learn that there's no trace of it. What do you think will happen to your heart? To my heart? My heart probably would be out of my mouth. And would you risk putting money in any stock exchange again? The best thing for you that you may think to do with that money, if you were to ever get it, would be to take it and bury it in the sea or someplace where no one can find it. And these things are happening regardless of where you are and who you are. A certain gentleman, a young man with the cryptocurrency, carried millions of dollars. He is now being locked up. Greed, avariciousness, covetousness, all these are the signs of the times. Men are not satisfied with the little or the much that they have. The more that they have, the more they want. In the United States of America, the greatest nation on earth, democracy has been and is being threatened. Further, in that nation, some of the most wicked crimes take place. Civility throughout the world is retrogressing, and this is because the world has entered a phase of selfishness and greed. And you know why there is much selfishness and greed? Because there is godlessness. Check the nations well, even here in Barbados. You know, we like to talk about going to Sunday school. Every Sunday person is talking about their children and they're taking their children to Sunday school. In England and other countries alike, churches are now, as it were, theaters. People are no longer in USSR. No, his aim is to become emperor of Europe. In America, you have none other than the former President Trump, who wants to be the monarch of the United States of America. You see? They don't want to give up power. They don't want to yield power. And Turkey, the president or prime minister, Erdogan, I think that's his name, he is now looking to have his third decade in office. Third decade. A decade is not 3 days, 3 years, or any such thing. A decade is 10 years. And 3 times are 30. Why would one want to have power for so long? Greed, selfishness. You know why? Because they are dangerous crackpots and power-hungry paranoids. And these are people who are ruling this world today. Everybody wants to have power. And when they get it, they don't want to relinquish it. They want to take it to the grave with them. Deeds of violence are overwhelming globally. There is no need to look at the United States of America where there is a continuous letting of blood. Look in our own backyard here in Barbados. There's no respect for life. Virtually every day now you hear of someone being shot. The gun is the ultimate weapon. And I believe that most of us, there was a time at nights I used to go to my house and stop in the road and look down the road and look at the stars and so on. But before the sun can set good, I'm in my house. And I'm not kidding. I have that fear because one night I was coming from a meeting and when I was going home, the relatives were overseas and I was coming from this meeting pretty late. And I saw a gentleman standing in my district. I pretend I gone on the phone and calling somebody. And a minute or so, a car came down, picked him up, and gone. I don't know why he was there, but it was a very strange occurrence. So we have to be careful. We have to be, and we are very fearful as to what obtains in our immediate environment. We must be wary. So, brethren, friends, as it was in the days of Noah, so shall it be before Christ's second coming. Then, like now, there is much gluttony and intemperance. You hear the health message this evening, informing what you should eat. And as we go on from month to month, you will hear more and more as to how and what we should eat, and when we shall eat, etc., etc. Satan is tempting